Hello, good morning. You are watching your own news channel, AFK Newsroom, and this is your host, Dr. Ajaz. We are going to discuss about what 330 million Americans are telling pollsters and why nobody in Washington is listening. Uh, you know what I did this morning what I did this morning before I came here. I filled up my gas tank, $63. Uh, Last spring it was 42. On the way, I stopped at the grocery store, bought the basics like bread, ground beef, eggs, coffee. That ran another $94. Same card I have been buying for years, same store, almost $100, but now I ran out $194. And when I got home, there was a letter on the counter. My landlord rent going up 300 a month starting in August. No explanation, just a letter. I'm not sharing that to complain, but I'm sharing it because if you are watching this right now, there's very good chance something like that happened to you this week too. This show is not going to give you a chart explaining why you feel squeezed. You already know you feel squeezed, but what we are going to do today is something different. We are going to walk through the rooms of American life, room by room, and show you the data behind what you are already living. Because sometimes it helps to know you are not crazy, this is real, that the numbers back up what your gut is already telling you. My name is Dr. Ejaz, and today we are going to talk about the economy, not Wall Street's economy, but economy of yours. Here's the most important thing you need to understand about the American economy in June 2026, not GDP, not the stock market, not the unemployment rate, but this 76% of Americans saying cost of living is their biggest economic concern, according to CNN SSRS May 2026. Uh, there 3 out of 4 Americans, and this is not a partisan number. This is not Democrats complaining or Republicans complaining. This is all of us looking at our bank accounts, our grocery receipts, our rent statements, and saying something is wrong here. The Reuters Ipsos poll released on May 19th found that 74% of Americans say their cost of living is on the wrong track. Gallup, which has been asking Americans about their finances since the 1940s, found in their April 2026 survey that 55% of Americans say their financial situation is getting worse. That is a record, not just a bad number, a record that the only comparable period in Gallup's data is the Great Recession. According to Gallup, April 2026, Americans' financial outlook in 2026 is historically poor, with a record 55% now saying their financial situation is getting worse. The only similar multi-year period was the Great Recession. And here's What makes the particularly remarkable? We have low unemployment, we have a growing GDP. The official economic indicators, the ones economist points to, say the economy is doing fine, and yet Americans consistently, stubbornly across party lines, say they don't feel fine. Why? Because the indicators measure the economy, they don't measure your life. The CNN poll found that 55% of Americans, more than double the year, who picked any other single issue, named the economy and cost of living as the most important issue facing the country heading into the midterm. Not immigration, no, not crime, not foreign policy, the grocery receipt. The Marist poll found that 70%, 7 in 10 Americans, say the cost of living in their area is not affordable. That is the highest share since Marist first asked this question in 2011. 61% say the economy is not working well for them personally, and across party lines, even 37% of Republicans say the economy is not on their side. This is the scale of what we are talking about, not a segment of the population, not a demographic slice. A sub-majority of Americans in poll after poll, month after month, reporting that something has broken down between what the economy is supposed to deliver and what they are actually experiencing. According to the graphical statistics, according to CNN, May 2026, 76% name cost of living their biggest economic concern, up from 58% in April 2025. Then the Reuters survey in May 2026, they found 74% cost, people saying the cost of living on wrong track. 73 disapprove of Trump's headlining of cost of living. Then April 26, according to Gallup survey, they found the record 55% say financial situation is getting worse. Fifth straight year of worsening. Then Marxist poll, they revealed after their survey they conducted, 70% say cost of living in their area is not affordable, highest since 2011. Then New York Times, January 2026, they revealed that 65% say, say middle class lifestyle is out of reach. 77% say it's harder than a generation gap, than a generation ago. Then Pew Research, in they found in January 2026 survey, top economic concerns: food cost, housing cost, healthcare cost, in that order. Then US polling data, uspolling data.com, they found economy and cost of living at 72% importance, more than double any other single gap, or any other single issue. Then resume now, January 2026, 92% of Americans cut back spending in 2025, including groceries and healthcare. Uh, this was a statistics in a glimpse, but there is one more number that should sit with you before we move on. In a January 2026 New York Times Sena poll, 77% of Americans said achieving a middle class lifestyle is harder today than it was for the previous generation. Not a little harder, but significantly harder. That is not a political opinion, that is a generation's assessment of whether the American bargain still works. Let's go to the grocery store, because this is where American feel the economy first, not in a quarterly report, not in a press conference, at the checkout first, or at the checkout line when you leave the grocery store. According to CBS News and Pew Research, food costs are Americans' single top economic concern. Not housing, not healthcare, food, the thing we all have to buy, the thing we all have to buy every week, no matter what. The ground beef is up 17.2% from a year ago. Coffee has surged 18.3%. Electricity, which determines how much it costs to keep food cold and cook it, has risen approximately 38 up to 40% since early 2020. And according to industry analysis, and farm level wheat prices are up 31.2% year over year. Um, Here is an example. A Sandra, 47, cashier at Baton Rouge, Louisiana. She said, "I work in a grocery store. I see what people put back. They will pick up the good ground beef and then put it down and get the cheap one every day, or they come through with a small cart, and I know they used to come with a full cart, and I don't say anything, I just know." Sandra sees it before the economists measure it. Consumers' behavior is changing in real time. The resume now, cost of living church report found that 92% of Americans cut back their spending in 2025. Uh, Including cutting back on groceries and healthcare, not luxuries but essentials. Nearly half, 49%, dipped into their savings just to get by. 90% of American adults have reported feeling stressed, specifically about increasing grocery costs. Uh, 1,700 extra average American family paid in tariff costs, February 2025 and January 2026, according to the study of Center for American Progress. That $1,700 did not show up as one bill. It showed up as a few extra dollars at the grocery store, a higher price tag on new appliances, a bit more clothing and shoes, death by 1,000 price increases. The tariffs raised the retail prices of imported goods by an average of 6.8 percent points, points above pre-tariff trends, according to the Center for American Progress. And while the Supreme Court invalidated the Liberation Day tariffs, the Trump administration invoked other authority to impose new global tariffs. The grocery receipts has not gotten any shorter. Here is another example. Terrence, 34, a delivery driver at Cleveland, Ohio. According to her, I spend my whole day driving. Gas is 4.8 dollars a gallon right now, and AAA had it at the highest since the Iran war started. My company doesn't reimburse me fully. I am losing money on some of my deliveries. I keep doing the job because I need the job, but the math doesn't work here. Gas prices nationally hit 4.18 dollars a gallon, the highest since the Iran war began, according to AAA data cited in the CBS News report from the late May. The national average stood at $4.52 on May 18th, approximately 50% higher than before the war began. For a family driving an SUV, the average annual fuel use is 663 gallons. At current prices, that's approximately $85 more per month, just for the gas to live their existing life. Terence can't stop driving. Sandra can't stop scanning. You can't stop eating. That is the specific cruelty. Cruelty of cost of living inflation. It is hardest on the things you cannot choose to stop buying. Now we are going to sit in an American waiting room, not because anyone wants to be there, but because 29% of Americans had no choice but to skip or delay medical care last year because they couldn't afford it. Paying for health care has become Americans' number one financial worry. According to KFF poll cited on CBS News, and it's not hard to understand why. Workers with employer sponsored health insurance are looking at premium increase of 6 to 13 6 up to 7% in 2026, more than double the current rate of inflation. Since 2008, the cost of private health insurance has roughly doubled. Health insurance premiums have grown three times faster than earnings between 1999 and 2024. Some 250 million Americans face health insurance premium increase for far exceeding inflation in 2026, according to Century Foundation. 250 million people, that is almost every adult in the country, paying more for the same coverage they had last year or less. And among those who relied on the Affordable Care Act marketplace, people who don't get insurance through a job, the situation is sharper. Congress failed to extend ACA enhanced subsidies, triggering uh, 250 million people, that is almost every adult in the country, paying more for the same coverage they had last year or less. And among those who relied on the Affordable Care Act marketplace, people who don't get insurance through a job, a situation is sharper. Congress failed to extend ACA enhanced subsidies, triggered premium spikes for millions of Americans who now buy their own insurance. Uh, Angela, 52 years, home health care aide from Memphis, Tennessee. She claimed, "I take care of other people for a living. I help them with their medications, their appointments, their everything, and I have not been to a doctor myself in 2 years because I can't afford the deductible. I know exactly what the co-pays cost. That's why I don't go. Angela is uh, one of the 29%. The Century Foundation survey found that among adults 18 to 29, nearly half of 49% delayed or skipped medical care in the past year. Women were twice as likely as men to skip prescribed medication due to the cost, 32% versus 16%. Comes and now comes the Medicaid piece. The one big beautiful bill signed into law on July 4th, 2025, cut roughly $1 trillion from Medicaid, removing coverage from an estimated 10.5 million people by 2034. Work requirements will take effect no later than December 31st, 2026, meaning by the end of this year, people will begin losing coverage under those new rules. The number of Americans without health insurance is projected to rise by 10.8 million between 2025 and 2036. 54% of Americans are extremely concerned that their households I'm sorry, concerned that their households will be unable to pay for healthcare services in the coming year. Even 37% of Republicans share that concern. It was a study according to Marist poll 2026. For Angela, this is not an ideological debate. It is a question of whether she sees a doctor. For millions of Americans, in rural communities, it's a question of whether the hospital stays open. We already know that more than 300 more than 300 rural hospitals are at immediate risk of closure because of the Medicaid cuts. Rural hospitals have average operating margins of 3.1%. Many are already negative. They cannot absorb revenue loss and survive. Your healthcare system is not abstract. It is the building in your town that you need to be able to walk into when something goes wrong. It was all about for today, and take care of yourself and your channel AFK Newsroom. We will be here again tomorrow with the part second of this topic. Till then, take care and goodbye.